and you're watching this right now online, then just put the question in the comments area, and someone here is watching, and they will let me know what it is, and I'll do my best to answer for you. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimate Siddheshvarupananda Paramahamsa Iti Namo Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Gaura Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prastaya. Before I start on the subject of reincarnation, somebody asked me a while back, why do we put this mark on our forehead? Do you know? It's called Tlock. And it represents God himself. Devotee puts this mark on his forehead. It is the name of God. Shri Keshavaya Namaha. Keshava. It's the name of God. And there's actually 12 marks on the body. Shri Keshavaya Namaha, Shri Vasudevaya Namaha, Vamanevaya Namaha, Vishnuvaya Namaha, so on and so forth. We don't do this to brag that we are devotees, simply to glorify God and for protection. When one is protected by the name of God, what harm will come? We glorify God in this way, with Tlock. So, I want to just briefly touch a little bit on reincarnation. We often hear about someone who remembers a past life. Someone says, oh yes, I was Napoleon in my past life, or I was Mata Hari in my past life. You never hear anybody as, just some nobody farmer or something like that. It's always somebody famous. Remembrance of past lives can be fascinating. I'm reading from this book called The Journey of Self-Discovery by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. But the real goal of understanding reincarnation is to become free from the painful cycle of birth and death. To die and to take birth again is not a very good business. We know that when we die, we have to enter again into the womb of another mother. And nowadays, mothers are killing their children within the womb. The Bhagavad Gita says, as the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth, and from youth to old age, the soul, or you, the self, similarly passes into another body at the time of death. A sober person is not bewildered by this change. So just as we pass from a childhood, from babyhood to childhood, to young adult, youth, young adult, and then you get old like me, like my body, and then, I've passed through all those different stages, and then when my body is finished, or I'm finished with my body, I'll move on. This is the way. Generally, people cannot understand this simple verse. Therefore, Krishna says, only a sober man can understand this. But what is the difficulty? How plainly Krishna has explained things. there are three basic stages of life. First is hamaram, and this lasts until one from birth until the age of about 15. And then, from the 16th year, one begins yavanam, or youth. And then, after the 40th or 50th year, one begins to become an old man or old woman, or jaranam. So, those who are dhira, or sober-minded, cool-headed, they can understand this. I have changed my body. I remember how it was when I was playing football or laying up the basketball or whatever when I was a boy or a little girl. Then when I became younger, when I became older as a young man, I enjoyed life with friends, family, work, and so forth. Now I am an old man. And when my body dies, I shall again enter into a new body. So this is the way of things. This is what is happening all the time. Birth and death. This is the nature of the world. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to simply accept that? I'm going to die, and then I'm going to take another birth, and then I'm going to die, and then I'm going to take another birth, and then I'm going to die, and then I'm going to take another birth, and so on and so forth, ad infinitum? A sober man would not be pleased with this. Therefore, the idea is to learn how to overcome reincarnation, the transmigration of the soul. Because in fact, in point of fact, there is no guarantee that you're going to go into another human body. You don't know. You may enter into the body of a dog or a monkey or a deer. There are many stories in the Vedas of people who have taken birth in animal bodies. This is not always the case. One can hope, at least, that one may take birth in a human body, but this is not guaranteed. So, learn this process of bhakti yoga. Understand who you are, what your life is for, what is the purpose of your life. Why are you here? And overcome this reincarnation. Are there any questions? Any questions from anyone? Yes, sir.
Who is reincarnating?
Who is reincarnating?
Yes.
Well, you, the Atma. The Atma is taking on the false ego, the mind, the body, and so forth, the senses. You enter into the body. You are animating your body right now. You are in your body, but you are not the body. Okay? It is you that makes your body move, that makes your body animated, that gives your body life. As soon as you leave, the body's dead. So that's who is reincarnating. And again, the idea is that you want to overcome this. When you understand who you are and who is God and what your relationship is with Him, there is no more birth and death. Yes?
When do we stop reincarnation?
When do we stop?
Reincarnation.
When do we stop reincarnating?
Reincarnation.
You don't. You don't. I mean, unless you become a pure devotee. If you become a pure devotee, you enter into your pure spiritual body, and you enter into the spiritual world, and there is no such thing as reincarnation in the spiritual world. Does that answer your question? Good. Good question. Thank you. Any other questions? No questions online? Yes, ma'am.
Horrible po.
Haribo.
Is reincarnation related to eternal love?
Try that again.
Is reincarnation related to eternal love? Life. Life.
Is reincarnation related to
eternal life.
carnal life?
Yeah.
You mean, huh?
Eternal life.
Eternal life. Ah. Well, again, if you understand who is reincarnating, then yeah, this can go on eternally. Just back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, eternally. But again, if you enter into, discover, and revive your relationship with Krishna and realize that you are spirit, you are pure spirit. And there is no reincarnation. It's gone. It's overcome. It's defeated at that point. Okay? Does that explain it for you? Yeah? Okay. Any other question? Ellen?
Haribol, sir.
Haribo.
Some student jump into another group because they say it's so hard to be initiated here. And then in that group which they joined, instantly they got initiated. What can you say about that?
Where is that group?
You'll find groups like that all over the place. I know a real estate company that are glad to have you. You buy one of their condos, no problem. And then you're initiated, and you pay for the rest of your life. You get what you pay for. Let's put it that way. If I simply say, okay, you come here and I'll initiate you. You have no quality, you have no qualification, you have no understanding of who you are, who I am, what I am. I'm just saying, I am Guru. I will teach you everything you need to know. Just come and I will educate you. I will initiate you. You will become my devotee, my disciple. And you will just do as I say. And then you will be all right. But who am I? Never mind. But what do I do? Never mind. You just follow me. That's all you need to do. You become my disciple. I will teach you. I will teach you everything, everything, everything. Because actually, I am God. And you are God. You see, the problem is that you have forgotten that you are God. I, on the other hand, have remembered who I am. Yes, I am God. And I will teach you how you can remember who you are, that you are God. Well, to begin with, if it's cheap, it's not worth much. What kind of a God is that? And what kind of a God is it that forgets that he's God in the first place? This is the teaching of various groups. They're called Mayavad. They go by various names. One used to be very popular here in the Philippines called Ananda Marg, but there are many. And basically they simply say, you come, I'll initiate you, I'll give you a spiritual name. You are Ananda. And they don't say Das. You are not Ananda Das. No, you are Ananda. You are Vivekananda. You are Satchidananda. You are whatever. When you enter into the Gaudiya Sampradaya, this line of disciplic succession from pure devotee, spiritual master to disciple, to spiritual master to disciple, to spiritual master to disciple. This is not something that one does lightly. And the spiritual master does not take on a disciple lightly. In fact, when Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati approached Jagannath Das Babaji, right? Jagannath Das? It's Jagannath Das Babaji, right? Help me out here. When Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati approached, was it Jagannath Das Babaji or there are two Babajis? Huh? No. When Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati approached his spiritual master, because his father, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, said, I cannot initiate you, I am your father. So you should approach Jagannath Das Babaji, right? Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. I knew there was another Babaji there. When Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati approached Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, at the behest of his father, Gaur Kishore said, I don't have time for you. Go away. So he came back another day. Go away. I don't want to see you. No, I'm not going to make you my disciple. And so, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur, his father, said, you must seek initiation from Gaur Kishore. And so, even though his father was really his spiritual master, he knew he had to take initiation from Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. So finally he said, look, if you don't initiate me, I will kill myself right now. I will simply kill myself. And Gaur Kishore Das Babaji said, okay, all right. This is how important it has to be. It is not that you just go up to somebody and say, give me a name, initiate me, make me your disciple. These kinds of spiritual paths are like stores that have a sale. Come in today, we have a sale. We'll give you free initiation. And that cheapens the whole idea of initiation. The initiation of the disciple is that the disciple gives his life at the lotus feet of his spiritual master. And the spiritual master takes on that disciple's karma, his sinful life, everything. So it is a major decision on both of their parts. Each one must be qualified. Each one must be sincere. I hope that answers your question. Does it? Yeah? I mean, if I could hand out initiations for a dime a dozen, sure, I would have, there are gurus in India that have thousands of devotees, thousands of disciples. I could have thousands of disciples. You could have thousands of disciples. You give it away cheaply and, make a good show, and there you go. Any other questions? We're doing questions and answers. If you have a question, just write it in the comments section, and, we'll know, and I'll answer it, okay? By magic. Yes, ma'am.
One of the girls asked, How can we know our next body?
Okay. Well, you can read this article about reincarnation here in this book, The Journey of Self-Discovery, or my spiritual master, Siddheshvar Paramahamsa, also has a book called Reincarnation Explained. And in that book, you will find the answer to that question. But basically, how can I know what my next body will be? You are making it as you are living in this body. You are making your next body. If your life is lived for nothing more than sense gratification, if you, like many surf, I don't know, I grew up in Hawaii, so I know a lot of surfers, and it's like the wave is God. I mean, man, surf's up, forget this, forget school, forget work, forget anything. I'm going out there and I'm going to surf. Well, I got news for you. A porpoise can surf a lot better than you can. He doesn't even need a board. So you may be inviting yourself to become a porpoise in your next life, a dolphin in your next life. There are many animals that love to surf. There are many insects that love the nectar of various, well, there are some insects that love both the sweetness of flowers and the putridness of stool. If you find that you are attracted to the most elegant sweetness and yet also the most depraved, horrible, sinful life, like many rich people today, or actually for many, many years, you know, they love to live very elegantly and they love everyone to think that they're very elegant and very suave and very sophisticated. But then if you go down in their basement, they're allowing themselves to be tied up by a girl and whipped and chains and you know, all kinds of depravity and everything like that. So this is making your next life. The actual body that you will take is determined by the entirety of your life and your karma. And that between, it's described that when one dies, they immediately take birth. But when you die, time ceases to exist. And so there is that time when the powers that be, as it were, your karma, your activities, your thoughts, words, deeds, and so forth, will congeal, come together to give you that next body that you will take birth in. From our standpoint, it's, you know, boom, boom. But when you're actually in it, when you die, it's like time is no longer relevant. So, you don't know necessarily. However, now wait, there's a good part to this too. There's a good part. And that is that Krishna says that even just a little bit of advancement in bhakti, in the devotional service and love for Krishna, the bhakti yoga, just a little advancement in this lifestyle will save you from the worst circumstance. And for most of us, the worst circumstance would be we want to at least come back as a human being. And so just a little bit of advancement in love of God will at least guarantee that you're going to come back as a human, because only the human form of life can appreciate, understand, glorify God. This is our unique place in the world. It's not that we're so smart, and it's not that we're so good, and it's not that we're so bad, it's not that we're so anything. We have the ability to understand our relationship with God. That is what makes us unique as human beings. Okay? Any other question? Wayne?
Is reincarnation is like entering to a hellish planet or a heavenly planet?
Well, it kind of depends on how you look at material life. A devotee looks at material life as being totally hellish. Okay, so if he has to take another body, well, there's a prayer. Let me be born in the home of a devotee who is always chanting your praises. Even if I am born a worm, let me be born in the house of your devotee. So that is what a devotee aspires to. For the materialist, the pain. We have a new mother over here. She's just had a little baby, and she can attest that she went through 6 hours of pain. A lot of pain. Now, the thing is that birth is not only painful to the mother, lying there in a hospital bed, or in the case of my younger daughter, in our home, but it is excruciatingly painful for the baby. So much so that by the time the baby is born, they have no memory, no recollection of who they were, what their past life was, what their existence was all about. It's gone. And that's because of the pain of rebirth. So, in many ways, it's very, very hellish to even, consider. We consider this material world, the world of duality. Happiness, sadness. Pain, pleasure. Sweet, sour, and so forth. But actually, the whole thing is, it's BS. It's all painful. It's all, you can be as rich as you want, you're still going to die. Okay? You can be oh man, I knew a guy that was always exercising, always, got the weights, working out, running every day. Man, he had a body that wouldn't quit. He was Mr. Exercise, Mr. Health himself. One day he's driving his car with his family near San Francisco. And he feels this horrible pain in his chest. He said, it feels like an elephant is sitting on my chest. An elephant is sitting on my chest. They drove him immediately to the hospital. He had burst his aorta. He had had an aneurysm in his heart where his aortic vein burst. After all of his health, all of his running, all of his weightlifting, all of his good food, all of his healthy this, that, and the other thing, still, he died. Very sad. But this is the nature of this world. It's the nature of Maya. Maya is Krishna's servant who is always telling you, oh, no. You want this. Oh, you don't like that? Oh, but this is even, oh, that's the wrong thing. No, I meant you want this. No, this is what you want. No, that's what you really want. You want a new home. You want to farm so you can farm the land, so you can become one with the soil, so you can become, a naturalist, one with nature. And so Maya has all these things that she will try to entice you with, all these enticements. There's always something, until you come to understand that that's just like Trump trying to tell you one thing and the reality is something else. You know what I'm saying? Not the fact. The fact is, you are a servant of God. And your purpose is to love God and serve God with every breath, with every thought, with every word, with every offering, with everything you eat, with every time you sleep, with every place you go, everything you do should be done as an offering to God, to Krishna. This is the perfection of life. This is the perfection beyond pain and pleasure, beyond birth and death. How do you get there? By glorifying God, by chanting His holy names. God has many, 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 many names. But the one mantra, the one group of His names that is considered to be the greatest is called Maha Mantra. And that is the chanting of Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the Maha Mantra. This is the mantra that will set you free. It is called the great mantra of deliverance, to deliver you from this material life into the spiritual world. Thank you very much. Haribol. So, are we going to do the 8 prayers? Okay.